PayPal, which has more than 400 million daily users and handles more than $1 trillion in transactions every year, just did something that could change the crypto space forever. It's not what you think either. While most of the world was watching what happened after Ripple's court case with the SEC, PayPal was working quietly and carefully on something that could be much bigger. There was a legal snag with XRP, but PayPal didn't wait. Instead, it started making plans for a future without Ripple in crypto. We're going to reveal that whole secret plan today. With whom did they work together? What makes $50 billion likely to flow into this competing blockchain? And what do wallets for institutions know that wallets for individuals do not? Before we can figure out what's going on, we need to know what PayPal wants. This business is based on trust, speed, and an easy-to-use interface. They're not interested in white papers or blockchains that are just ideas. They want buildings and roads that work right away. When Ripple got into problems with the SEC, it was no longer seen as a safe way to integrate, at least between PayPal and other public companies. In a quiet way, people started looking for a substitute to Ripple that would work just as well, be used more quickly, and not have any legal problems. So this is where Stellar Lumens or XLM comes in. Jed McCaleb, one of the original co-founders of Ripple, made Stellar after he abruptly left the Ripple team in the early days. Stellar and XRP have some technical similarities, but Stellar went in a very different direction. It didn't do an ICO, kept its foundation and market more separate, and most importantly, focused on quiet, methodical relationships with banks, governments, and fintechs. Stellar has made deals with MoneyGram, IBM, and a number of banking lines in Africa and Latin America over the past few years. These real-world use cases make it a great choice for digital cross-border rails. Things may now get really crazy, though, because Stellar could be PayPal's next big blockchain partner. Developer notes from PayPal's Sandbox API environment that were leaked show that the layout of the integration modules is the same as Stellar's SDK. At the same time, there were a lot of commits to Stellar's GitHub repositories at the same time that the PayPal blockchain was going through its known development rounds. Random event? Perhaps. But when you add that to the fact that institutional wallets are now buying huge amounts of XLM from platforms, it's hard to ignore what's written on the wall. Over 250 million XLM coins have been moved from exchanges to private wallets in the last 30 days. A lot of them are split between well-known fintech custody companies and over-the-counter desks. This is not how small players who are looking for pumps act. This is experts quietly building up their wealth. Now let's talk about numbers. Even though XRP only won part of its case against the SEC, it still has a market value of over $30 billion. Stellar, on the other hand, is still worth less than $4 billion. XLM could see a flood of transactions similar to what XRP went through at its peak if PayPal fully integrates it as part of its back-end cross-border settlement engine. This time, there will be fewer governmental strings attached. And the best part, Stellar's protocol can be used by more people, costs less, and is only for fast trades that don't cross borders. Let's get really clear on how this would work. A person in the US who uses PayPal wants to send $200 to a family member in the Philippines. PayPal sends the transaction through Stellar's blockchain instead of going through money exchange, bank fees, and wait times. The USD is changed into XLM, sent across the Stellar network, and on the other end, it is quickly changed back into Philippine pesos. How much time? Not more than 5 seconds. Cost in total? A very small part of a cent. Users never even see the layer that does the encryption. When Bitcoin integration is done right, this is what it looks like. Smooth, unnoticeable, and quick. This is the kind of answer that PayPal is known for. As part of our study, we also looked at wallet heat maps that showed new XLM activity in Latin America, Southeast Asia, and Africa. These are areas where PayPal is rapidly growing thanks to its partnerships with money transfer apps and e-commerce sites. The sudden increases in wallet activity are a perfect match for the tests that devs have been running behind the scenes with Stellar's tools. When we add these signals to predictions of how many payments PayPal will get in these areas, it's hard to ignore the upside possibility. Stellar doesn't need to be the most popular cryptocurrency. It only needs to become the plumbing for one of the world's biggest fintechs in the background. But there's more to the story. If PayPal bets on Stellar, it means they think the rules will be followed. The SEC has not gone after Stellar. In fact, some officials have praised it for putting compliance first. In fact, it was one of the first blockchains that was thought about for use in pilot projects for central banks to build digital currencies. And it's something that is being talked about with companies and central banks. That makes it a great business partner for PayPal, not just because it works well, but also because it's allowed to last that long. This is the age of crackdowns, so that could be the most valuable trade of all. What's the deal? Why haven't I heard more about this? That's the point. Coin changes that make a lot of money don't usually come from what everyone is talking about. They come from what the smart money is doing behind the scenes. Institutional capital is quietly putting money into coins like XLM to get ready for the next infrastructure wave. While Twitter fights over joke coins and Reddit speculates on AI projects, we also looked at what PayPal did. They now have a safe coin called PYUSD. It's based on Ethereum, but that's only the part that people see. Behind the scenes, PayPal PayPal might be planning to use Stellar to send stablecoins around the world for almost nothing. And think about this. You carry PYUSD in your wallet. When you send money across borders, the system sends the value through XLM as a bridge asset, completes the transaction, and settles in the target currency. The person using it doesn't even know about or need to touch a crypto wallet. These are payments for the next generation. It's true. What does that mean for XRP? Once Ripple won in court, its token got new life. But partners like PayPal may have had to look elsewhere for clarity after that. Stellar gives you the same speed with fewer problems. Ripple is still alive and well, but it may now have to fight not only regulators, but also rivals like Stellar, who have had years to build, improve, and steal the show. Not at all do we think XRP is going to fail. In fact, Ripple's network has great business partnerships, especially in the banking industry.